Buenas tardes. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's do a little bit better than that. I want them to hear us down in Puerto Rico, okay? You know, we're not that far from Puerto Rico, but you know, aquí, you know, let's let them know that this is happening today, right now. Buenas tardes. All right, I'll take it. That's good, good. Thank you. I'm Rob Santiago. I'm the Veterans Commissioner of the City of Boston. It's an honor for me to once again play as the Master of Ceremonies here. And I always like to say that I am the first Puerto Rican, first Boricua Veterans Commissioner here in the great city of Boston that I take great pride in. I want to thank Mayor Michelle Wu for giving me the responsibility to continue as Veterans Commissioner. It's definitely an honor for me to serve in your administration. Thank you, Madam Mayor. First and foremost, I think we have a couple of Marines here, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So I wanted to wish all the Marines here today a happy 249th birthday to the most feared force in the world, our Marine Corps. So whatever Tony Molina says, I do. Except if the mayor's telling me, then I'm sorry, you gotta, you know. So thank you all of the Marines who have worn and continue to wear the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, and who continue to uphold the ideals of discipline, warfighting proficiency, professionalism, and personal conduct to define what it means to be a United States veteran, or United States Marine as well. Today we are here in Boston, a city that holds a special place in the story of our nation's freedom, to honor the Puerto Rican men and women who have served with courage, honor, and unwavering loyalty. The history of Puerto Rican veterans is a testament to our courage, resilience, and patriotism. Puerto Ricans have officially served in the United States military since World War I, a proud legacy that spans over a century. Despite facing challenges of language barriers, prejudice, and many times limited recognition, we have made invaluable contributions to the many communities we live in here and abroad. One of the most notable examples is the 65th Infantry Regiment, also known as the Borinqueniers, named after Puerto Rico's indigenous heritage. Formed in 1899, the Borinqueniers served with distinction in both World Wars and the Korean War. Their bravery in Korea earned them the Congressional Gold Medal in 2014, a recognition that highlights their courage and who's distinguished themselves through bravery and perseverance despite discrimination and adversity. If anybody wants to see what the medal looks like, I have a replica of the Congressional Gold Medal right up here that was given to all the Borinqueniers. This is a symbol of their pride, not just for Puerto Ricans, but for the entire nation. They, along with all Puerto Rican veterans, embody a spirit of service that continues to inspire us all. Puerto Rican men and women have served in all branches of the armed forces, participating in conflicts from Vietnam to Afghanistan. They have brought honor and distinction to their communities, embodying values of loyalty and sacrifice. Today, Puerto Rican veterans represent the rich diversity and unity that strengthens our city and these United States. Their contributions have helped shape our nation's history, and their legacy of service continues to inspire future generations. As we honor them, we are reminded of the courage, resilience, and dedication of Puerto Rican veterans who answered the call to serve and to protect. Here in Boston, we see the impact of this legacy in countless ways. We see it in those who are our firefighters, our police officers, EMT. We see it in the healthcare system, our educational institutions, our businesses, our city and state government, and as community leaders, embodying the values of discipline, resilience, and kindness. They all show us every day that service doesn't end when you return home. Rather, it transforms and grows, creating ripples of impact across our city, our state, our country, and this world. As a community, we pledge to uphold our own loyalty to our veterans and their families. This past Saturday, at the conclusion of our Veterans Day Parade and before the flag raising, Mayor Wu signed an order adjusting the property tax exemption for veteran homeowners to reflect cost of living increases. This tax order was introduced and passed by the City Council in a unanimous vote. We opted to adjust the property tax exemption following the legislature's passing of the HERO Act signed by Governor Maura Healey in August. So many thanks also goes to Senator Nick Collins and Rep. John Moran in the State House for making sure that that happened, so thank you. This aimed to increase affordability and housing ownership opportunities for eligible veterans by adjusting the maximum exemption. But our commitment doesn't stop there. This past summer, we launched the first ever mini grant program offered by Veteran Services called Bridge the Gap, providing nearly $100,000 in funding to local organizations supporting our veterans and military community. And we're accepting applications for our second round of the Bridge the Gap mini grant funding starting next week, with the goal of providing twice as much funding as we did the first time around. So if you are part of a veteran service organization, Tony, hint, hint, make sure to apply or talk to me or someone on my team so that we can help support and expand the critical work you're doing for our veterans and their families. This initiative will help address unmet needs and fill any gaps that may remain even after benefits are accessed. These are just two examples of our commitment to supporting you, our veterans, to honoring you, our veterans, and your families, and to ensuring that your sacrifices are honored and never forgotten. So again, today here at the first ever Puerto Rican monument erected in the United States of America, we honor Puerto Rican veterans not only for their courage, but also for their heritage and the richness that they bring to these United States of America. That's right. So let us celebrate our legacy as Puerto Ricans, and because of this hallowed park here today, their contributions will never be forgotten. Let us always express our gratitude and acknowledge the sacrifices they and their families have made to protect our nation. We are always deeply grateful for all of our veterans and what they have done and continue to do, and we stand with them in respect and gratitude today and forever. And I know here in this city of Boston, we will always continue to pledge and carry this legacy of loyalty and service, honoring your courage as veterans and your family's courage and commitment for many generations to come. Thank you. So those are my welcoming remarks. For the actual welcoming remarks, I would like to bring up here Dr. Sepulveda, the Vice President of the Puerto Rican Veterans Monument Association.
Thank you, Roberto. What a beautiful day, guys, huh? We cannot ask for better than this. I saw a gentleman sitting on the floor. That is a very good place. Otherwise, you will not be, if it will be any colder than this. Veterans Day is a day to remember. And by the way, I am glad that you corrected something that I was going to correct. I'm the vice president. The president is behind me, and he will be president until he looks to his toe. He will be there forever. Okay? So not in somewhere I saw that president is me. No, wait. It's Tony. No. He carries that until he knows when. November 11th. November 11th, as you know, is a day that we celebrate Veterans Day, but no matter what day of the week is, we celebrate it that day. Sunday, Friday, whatever it is, we celebrate it this day. We don't skip or anything like that. It's the 11th day of the month, 11th hour, and it was done since 1918. That was the end of World War I, and we have celebrated in 1919, President Wilson proclaimed this as the first commemoration or Armistice Day, he said. To us in America, the reflection of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride and heroism of those who died in the country's service, and with gratitude for the victory, for both of the things from which it has freed us, and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice and counsel of all nations. We stand here today to unite our gratitude and respect to those who serve in uniform in our nation's armed forces. I want to welcome all the veterans. I want to welcome all the political figures that we have in the town of Boston. I don't have a list, so I'm not going to start with one and then I'll get in trouble. So I'm going to let that Tony to take care of that. To our Vietnam veterans, I don't think I do have First World War or Second World War or Korean veterans here, but if any, please raise your hand. I want to recognize mainly the ones that I have, a lot of them, that I have been dealing with them for a long time, Vietnam veterans, Tony and Jaime, so I know that they're here. And you guys serve with honor in a very divisive time, often returning home to a nation failed to appreciate your sacrifice. Today, we reaffirm our gratitude and respect for your service. And to the veterans of more recent conflicts in the Middle East and beyond, you have carried the torch of freedom into a new era, facing an enemy that lurks in the shadows. Your ability to adapt and our resilience in the face of unconventional warfare has been nothing short but remarkable. I just want to welcome you here. Very happy to have you here. And let's honor our veterans, not just with words, but with action that demonstrate our commitment to their well-being. May God bless our veterans, their family, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. So right now we have a treat. We have Jose Lopez, whose son Amaro is going to sing La Boniqueña with us.
You ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
La tierra de Borinque, donde he nacido yo, es un jardín florido, mágico primor, un cielo siempre nítido, que se vive de dioses. Y la luz los ácidos, las olas a sus pies cuando a sus playas llegó Colón, exclamó lleno de admiración. Oh, 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 esta es la linda tierra que busco yo. Es la hija del mar y el sol, 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 del mar y el sol.
Oh my God. El mejor himno que se ha cantado en este monumento.
That was awesome. To be able at that young age to stand in front of a whole bunch of people to sing the beautiful song is awesome. It's great. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the Star Spangled Banner. And now, before we continue our program, I would like us to please take a moment of silence. Thank you. That moment of silence is for all our service members, family members, and Americans who never made it back home. At this time, I would like to call up to the podium our mayor, the best advocate that we have here in the city of Boston for all our veterans and our families. It's an honor for me to personally introduce Mayor Michelle Wu.
Okay, my remarks are somewhere here. Buenas tardes. Gracias, Commissioner, and to all to all of our special guests who are here. It is a joy to be with you all and to watch the evolution of what was first an idea to a plaque, a monument, a plaza, and really one of the biggest events now across the city to commemorate both Veterans Day and Memorial Day and all of the important recognitions in between. I want to thank all of my colleagues who are here, the members of the board. Thank you to President Molina and President or Vice President Sepulveda and all the members of the board, to our elected officials, City Councilor Ed Flynn, City Councilor Julia Mejia, City Council President Ruthie Louis-Jean, State Rep John Moran, Sheriff Steve Tompkins, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, Senator Nick Collins, I think I got everyone, and many more who always join from year to year. I also want to give a special recognition to members of our administration who work so hard. In addition to the best veterans commissioners in the country, we have a star lineup here sitting in some of these rows. So Alex, Jose, Gladys, thank you for all that you do, and members of our team. We have our Captain Sweeney here and members of the Boston Police Department. Thank you for your service. Finally, I want to give a shout out to someone who's also here every single year, Bob Schur, the artist behind this memorial. Thank you for capturing the spirit. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to make space to recognize the enormous contributions that Puerto Rican veterans and the Puerto Rican community at large have made and continue to make to our city and our country. I was very honored to be at the El Mundo Hispanic Heritage Month breakfast just a little bit ago, where Tony Molina, whose legacy of fighting for this community has been lifted up and impacted us in so many ways, was finally recognized with the Lifetime Achievement Award. So thank you again, and congratulations again to Tony. Since the 65th Infantry Regiment, the Buccaneers, was established in 1899, more than 200,000 Puerto Ricans have served in the armed forces. And that number is just the brave service members from the island of Puerto Rico, not including the countless Puerto Ricans from all over the continent who have signed up to defend the highest values of our nation. We know by the numbers that Puerto Ricans are twice as likely to serve in the armed forces as the general population, twice as likely to say goodbye to friends and family, to serve overseas, twice as likely to risk their lives in the line of duty to keep the rest of us safe. This community has stepped up generation after generation to fight for the best version of who we are. So when leaders publicly denigrate Puerto Rico and Puerto Ricans, when there are those who have insulted this community, they are attacking not just a central pillar on which our country stands, but all of us. I am proud to be here today alongside all of my colleagues to join in Boston's commitment in honoring those who have honored us with the gift of their service, recognizing all of our veterans, and recognizing each and every one of our communities. As you heard from the Commissioner, we are trying every day to lift up and to live up to that promise with the work that we do. So it's not just about the dedications and ribbon cuttings and commemorations, but the active policies, the resources, the funding that is going to reach even more veterans, military families, and to ensure that we're continuing to close gaps. So I want to thank everyone here for all that you do on a daily basis. I want to thank you for making Boston the best version of ourselves. That is going to be more important than ever in the years ahead, and we are so grateful to stand with you.
Okay, un poco en español. Desde que el 65º, el Regimiento 65, conocido como los Puerto Ricanos, fue formado en 1899, más de 200,000 puertorriqueños han servido en las Fuerzas Armadas. Y sabemos que ese número incluye solo a los valientes miembros del servicio de la isla de Puerto Rico, no cuenta a los innumerables puertorriqueños de todo el continente que se han unido para defender los valores más altos de nuestra nación. Los puertorriqueños tienen el doble de probabilidades de servir en las Fuerzas Armadas que la población general, el doble de probabilidades de despedirse de amigos y familiares para ir al extranjero, doble de probabilidades de arriesgar sus vidas en el cumplimiento del deber para mantenernos a salvo. Generación tras generación, ustedes han dado un paso adelante para luchar por la mejor versión de lo que somos. Así que cuando los líderes denigran públicamente a Puerto Rico y a los puertorriqueños, cuando insultan a esta comunidad, están atacando uno de los pilares fundamentales sobre los que se sostiene nuestro país y todos nosotros. Me siento orgullosa de estar aquí hoy con todos ustedes para honrar a quienes nos han honrado con el regalo de su servicio. Me siento orgullosa de celebrar a una comunidad que nos ha dado tanto para celebrar. Thank you so much to everyone and happy Veterans Day.
Thank you, Mayor. And Mayor, before you go, I would like to call up here the captain. And also Senator Collins and Representative Moran, if you could also come up here. Okay. Okay. So we have a presentation for me, but the good doctor would like to say a few words.
Yes, I would like to say a couple things about Zoraida. Thank you very much, Zoraida, to be here. I just want to be involved in this field that she is, a nursing home. I will tell you that Zoraida studied in University of Puerto Rico and University Central Interamericana and grew up all the way through the channels from intensive care unit to neonatal care unit and all the way. And I have to say I'm very proud that she has found the co-founder, the clinical officer of the Guardian Health Care. She's a retired, decorated U.S. U.S. Army captain, not Marine, captain, registered nurse. Zoraida brings several years of leadership and commitment. She has been receiving multiple awards, and I just want to say something before we present these lovely things for you. Thank you very much, Zoraida.
So, Captain Zoraida, we do have something first from the Puerto Rican Veterans Monument Association. I would like to read it. Dear Ms. Hernandez, the Puerto Rican Veterans Monument Association would like to express our sincere appreciation and gratitude for your service to our country. Your unwavering commitment, courage, and dedication exemplify the true spirit of honor and sacrifice. Your tremendous contribution serves as a testimony of excellent service provided by the Puerto Rican veterans in the armed forces. We are profoundly proud for the commitment and devotion you have demonstrated as a veteran. Thank you for your service. This we'll defend. Best regards, Antonio Molina, President.
Captain, mucho gusto, muchas gracias. Gracias por el servicio y gracias por honrar la comunidad y nosotros los boricuas.
Huh?
Appreciation and words for all those.
Vamos a hacer primero, ya que tal. Vamos a hacer primero.
Oh, okay, bien.
Captain Zoraida Hernandez, we also have one from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Senator? Representative? The Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Veteran Services, be it hereby known to all that the Executive Office of Veteran Services offers its sincerest congratulations to Captain Zoraida Hernandez in recognition for your outstanding commitment to the Puerto Rican Veterans Association of Massachusetts and to the United States of America. The Secretariat extends its best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors, given this 11th day of November, 2024, offered by Secretary of Veteran Services, John Santiago. But we're not done yet. There's one more. This one is from the city of Boston.
Maybe we can claim former Councilor
Yes.
Presley.
Yes. The City of Boston Certificate of Appreciation awarded to Captain Zoraida Hernandez, United States Army, in appreciation of your tireless dedication to duty and service to our country. You helped to maintain the security and freedom of the United States of America that is in keeping with the proud traditions of our armed forces. On this day, we honor your service, your courage, and most of all, your sacrifices. Your dedication to the City of Boston, the Puerto Rican community, and the United States are commendable. Presented this 11th day of November, 2024, signed, Michelle Wu, Mayor of Boston. Thank you. Now I would like to call up here one of the board members on the advisory board, Jaime Rodriguez, who is going to have some appreciation remarks.
Yo voy a hablar el idioma de Dios, el español, porque la gran mayoría de las veces que nosotros estuvimos en combate, nos comunicábamos nosotros en español, porque la gran mayoría de nosotros no sabíamos inglés cuando fuimos a defender la libertad de este país. Por eso es que nosotros tenemos que sentirnos orgullosos como puertorriqueños, como hispanos, que independientemente que usted no hable el inglés, nosotros combatimos en español porque las balas no tienen lenguaje. Yo le doy las gracias a ellos que están con nosotros, porque ellos forman parte de ese grupo que nos respalda en cada sitio que estamos. Pero hay que recordar que cada vez nosotros somos más en este país y cada vez necesitamos más respeto de este país. Le doy las gracias a Michelle que está con nosotros, porque Michelle no solamente es la alcaldesa de este pueblo, sino Michelle estuvo con nosotros al principio, como estuvo Molina, como estuvo Guillermo, como estuvo todo el grupo de nosotros, Pedro Santiago y otros. Hoy no es ella alcaldesa para nosotros, sino es miembro, porque esto se hizo con el apoyo de un grupo y ella estaba presente. Así que yo le doy las gracias a ustedes que estén aquí y que todos los años estemos aquí, porque cuando aquí querían poner un Dunkin' Donuts, Molina y yo pusimos una representación nuestra para que el Dunkin' Donuts lo construyeran en algún sitio y no aquí, porque esto es parte del sacrificio del puertorriqueño, donde la iglesia que está ahí presente era la donde nosotros visitaban, donde aquí se peleó con sangre y con palo por muchas semanas para defender el respeto del puertorriqueño. Así es que no nos echemos nunca para atrás, que si combatimos en la jungla de Vietnam, si combatimos en la Segunda Guerra Mundial, si hemos combatido donde quiera que Estados Unidos nos mete, aquí todavía tenemos que seguir combatiendo para siempre ganar más terreno, para que tengamos gente en todos los niveles del gobierno y no nos echemos para atrás nunca. Así que, puertorriqueños, la lucha es valor y sacrificio.
Wow, I don't know how to follow that. But I will say, just to go along with some of what he said, and the mayor's participation in the building of this monument, if you look at the founding members, there's a plaque to my right here, to the right, and it bears all of the founding members' names, which also includes our mayor at the time as an advisor, Mayor Wu. At this time, I would like to call up here from the state. I would like to call up Senator Nick Collins to offer a few remarks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon. Something that was brought up earlier in the program by the Commissioner, which we've heard time and again at events like this, and it's important that we don't just celebrate today and honor people and their families who've served our nation with bravery and courage, in particular here, Puerto Rican veterans. But we also are called upon to do more to help them in their civilian life. And I want to speak to a little bit of that. The Commissioner talked about the HEROES Act, which gave authorization to cities and towns that the mayor took with the city council to lower residential property taxes for veterans. But we also took that on to bring more benefits to veterans, to broaden the definition under our state law, to increase the diversity on the Veterans Equality Review Board, and to expand the definition of a veteran to support more dependents of veterans, including expanding mental health and healthcare services. We established and codified, as we celebrate the captain here today, the Women's Veterans Network in Massachusetts under state law, expansion of our home base program out of Mass General Hospital, and to also expand behavioral health services to the Massachusetts National Guard with an increase. We established something to make sure we have independent representation for our veterans in the Office of the Veterans Advocate that operates similar to the Children's Advocate. And we recently, the state selected Colonel Bob Notch as the first Veterans Advocate. I do want to end by saying I'm really honored to be able to serve among my colleagues that are here today who put our veterans first, and to be among you to celebrate the richness of the Puerto Rican community through its veterans here. And this monument speaks to that. The first in the nation, something very to be proud of. But as we continue to come back year by year, take away the lessons, the suggestions, and try to do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And just to make a quick point about what he's talking about with regards to the women veterans, there was it was really forward thinking when this monument was erected here, because if you see, is representative of both the male and the woman veteran up here as well. So, Captain, this is you up there. Oh, there she is. Next to offer a few remarks is our state representative here for the South End, Representative John Moran.
It's a promotion, I don't think so. So I'm State Rep John Moran, and just want to really thank everyone for being here today in this beautiful ceremony in this beautiful park dedicated to our Puerto Rican veterans, both today that served in the past and in the current scenario. I've come to realize over my lifetime that there's never enough we can do to thank our veterans. We owe them so much a debt of gratitude. And while we can never repay the sacrifice, we can do small things. And I know the senator mentioned, and our esteemed mayor also mentioned the HERO Act, along with Commissioner Santiago. But one thing we can do really small things. And one of the things that, just to give you one other example that hasn't been mentioned, is that the Registry of Motor Vehicles, there's going to be benefits that have just been rolled out for disabled veterans. And that's thanks to a great partnership between the Mass DOT and the Executive Office of Veterans Services. So really here in our incredible city, we have, I just want to commend the city as well for quickly rolling out the legislation related to the property tax exemption. It shows the great collaboration we have in the city. I'm not going to say this is the case, but I can't imagine a city has done that faster than the city of Boston. And I really want to just thank you, Madam Mayor. I just, on a personal note, just wanted to end, if you'll permit me to say that, after last Tuesday's results, I really just want to say I think we should all be thankful that we're here together, and we'll always have each other, no matter what, to navigate the days ahead. So let's all work together, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative. Before I continue, just want to give a couple of shout outs out here for some of the folks that we have here as well. We have both Jose Mazos here. We have Jose Efe right here, the Chief of Human Services, and the man, the legend himself, Jose Mazo, right here to my left. Of course, Sheriff Tompkins, we have him right back here. That movie that came out, anyway, I'll talk later. We also have Pedro Santiago here with us as well. The former president of the Puerto Rican Parade, Edwin Aleceas here, who's retired. There he is. And still serving our community and standing in the background is Javier Pagan. There he is. Also want to recognize La Familia Escarnacion and Anthony Auto Body Shop for donating the wreath. Now, coming up to speak and say a few words on behalf of the City Council is former Navy veteran, 24-year Navy veteran, who I get to call a shipmate because I was in the Navy myself. He's Navy retired. He still serves in the Boston City Council and is a former president of the City Council, Councilor Ed Flynn.
Thank you, Commissioner Santiago, and thank you to Mayor Wu and Commissioner Santiago for the exceptional leadership you both play, and Rob, your team as well, in supporting our veterans and military families across Boston. I also want to echo Governor Healy and Kim Driscoll and Secretary Santiago as well, as a former state representative, for their leadership, working closely with the state legislators that are here, Nick Collins and John Moran. Honored to speak on behalf of my colleagues in the City Council, Council Mejia, City Council President Louis Jean. Honored to be with the Congressman as well, Congressman Presley. What I wanted to say briefly was I had the opportunity to, as Rob mentioned, to serve 23 or 24 years in the military. I was deployed with the Puerto Rican Army National Guard and with the U.S. Virgin Islands Army National Guard as well at Joint Task Force Guantanamo, and I also served with Hispanics in the Persian Gulf. But what I saw from them, these men and women, is their dedication, their professionalism, their commitment to our country, their hard work, their loyalty, supporting each other during tough times on deployments. And then I always thought of them when they return home, especially the Hispanic community. They return home back to the United States, and they're not treated with the same level of respect and dignity that they should be afforded to as citizens, as service members. So there's a lot more work we have to do on civil rights and supporting our veterans and military families as well. And I think Rob said it perfectly too, highlighting and talking about the Women Veteran Memorial. The fastest growing demographic at the VA Medical Center is women veterans. And although they provide critical and exceptional care here in Boston, that's not the case everywhere. But we need to do more to support our women veterans. Commissioner Santiago and myself have done a lot of work supporting LGBTQ plus veterans. But I'm here today to say thank you to the Puerto Rican veterans and your families for your service, for your sacrifice. And we can't say it enough. We're so proud of you. We're proud to call you a friend. Thank you very much.
I think Alberto Vasario is here also. Just wanted to say hi. There he is. And I was looking for him. I'm like, where'd he go? And then I just noticed just sitting down next to the mayor. Look at that. Our next speaker is our sheriff. I can't see. I don't see his tank around here, but he was loosely played by Ving Rhames in a movie called The Instigators. So, ladies and gentlemen, our sheriff, Steve Tompkins.
Good afternoon. Wow, I see a lot of people out there, but I didn't hear many voices. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Look, I'm going to be brief because I also want to hear the Congresswoman speak, but let me say this. Let me say this to you. I grew up in Spanish Harlem in New York City. I've been to the island of Puerto Rico more times than I can count. It's a beautiful island with beautiful people. And for anyone to have the audacity to say anything negative about the island of Puerto Rico or Puerto Ricans and what they've done for this country is sorely mistaken.
Yes, thank you.
This country is built on our diversity. This country is a place where no two people look alike, talk alike, think alike, and they bring their rich heritage to what we know as the United States of America. And so on behalf of the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department, I've just got two words to say to you here, to the Puerto Rican veterans, and to the island of Puerto Rico. And those two words are, thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you, Sheriff Tompkins. Very, very well said. Now, I won't take up any more time because she has to go back down to DC. She has a lot of work to do these next 4 years. So I would like to it's my honor to call up here our main speaker, our Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley.
Thank you so much. United States of America, e pluribus unum, out of many we are one. I was looking at these flags and how beautiful they are waving in the wind. I wanted to take a moment to thank Senator Collins for making arrangements for this American flag, which flew over the United States Capitol, to be here today. So thank you. You still here? Okay. Thank you, Nick. You know how on St. Patrick's Day everybody's Irish? On this day, when I come to the square, I am Boricua. Okay? And proud of it. It's hard to follow everyone because everything has already been said. But I think it bears repeating because there are many people that do not want an accurate telling of American history and the contributions of many. And so it is important. You know, who we honor, who we pay tribute to matters. This monument is a testament to the power of the arts. It is a testament to the power of symbolism. Is a testament to the power of history when we tell all of it. It is also a testament to the power of community, which organized and mobilized and labored in love to see this made real. So good afternoon and happy Veterans Day. Thank you to the Puerto Rican Veterans Monument Square Association for organizing this event every year to honor our Puerto Rican veterans. Thank you to Tony Molina. I want to say this to our young people, because it is my hope with this monument that whenever people come by and they sit here for a moment, that they do study and learn the history, that it's a prompt, especially for our young people who think that history only resides in books or in Google. History is all around you. You have people in your own family who are makers and shapers of history. People in your community who are makers and shapers of history. People like Tony Molina, who earned a Purple Heart, who was the first Puerto Rican wounded in Vietnam, who has been a champion and an architect of progress, whether you're talking about this monument, Spanish language media, the Puerto Rican Festival, and I could go on. So we thank you for your commitment to our country, to this Commonwealth, and to the city of Boston, and to the Puerto Rican community. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for laboring in love and the entire Veterans Monument Square Association. Your commitment to honoring our veterans, preserving their legacy, is a powerful reminder of the strength and resilience within our communities, and we are deeply grateful for all that you do. The Massachusetts 7th is home. Now I'm going to brag a little bit here. Not only are we home to this historic monument, but I represent majority parts Boston, Cambridge, all of Somerville, Randolph, Everett, Chelsea, and Milton. Massachusetts 7th is home to the 5th largest Puerto Rican community in this country. And that is certainly a source of pride for me. We thank our veterans for being justice seekers, for being resilient movement builders, and as so, many brave servicemen and women have shown that they have been fierce defenders of democracy and freedom. They have been American patriots. What has fueled them and everything that they have done has been a love of country. Your contributions and sacrifices have strengthened our communities and fortified the very foundation of this nation. Now, while there are many memorials and services that take place around this country today, it is always a special honor to be here, the only one of its kind, specifically honoring the contributions and sacrifices of Puerto Rican men and women. The spirit of Puerto Rico and the Puerto Ricans who have served our country is stronger than ever. More than 200,000 Puerto Rican men and women have bravely served in our nation's military, and some have made the ultimate sacrifice. Their bravery, their commitment, their patriotism deserve remembering and celebrating, and it requires that we honor them during and after this service. Now, as a lawmaker, I'm a firm believer that the best way to thank our veterans is through policy, which I'm grateful to my colleagues at every level of government, our mayor, for recognizing that support is a verb. If you say, I appreciate our veterans, I love our veterans, thank a veteran, you do it in word and deed, and we thank you for that, Mayor. We thank our colleagues in the state legislature, on the city council. The best way to thank our veterans is through policy. That is why in Congress I supported the PACT Act, and thanks to the commissioner for his advocacy. And what that does is expand VA health care and benefits for veterans who were exposed to burn pits and other toxic substances. It is also why I fought alongside Congressman Steve Lynch to deliver a $5 million investment to home base at MGH to support our veterans and their family members, those that have physical and invisible wounds of war. But the laws matter because policies determine everything. They determine who lives, who dies, who survives, and who thrives. And the best way that we can honor our veterans every day when they come back with physical and invisible wounds is to make sure that they have everything they deserve. Our advocacy is not an appeal for charity, it is for reciprocity. It is for the respect and the dignity that our veterans and the benefits that they are due. Because freedom is not free. And when our veterans return, they should have all the services and benefits they've earned from gainful employment, behavioral and mental health, housing, and much, much more. They deserve a pathway to healing and should not have to come back and fight a different war, where they are fighting against invisibility, indignity, and injustice. You can clap for that. In Congress, I'll continue to fight for policies that affirm the dignity, humanity, and well-being of our veterans and address the root causes of their trauma. And that is why I will always advocate for peace and for diplomacy, ending forever wars and preventing the trauma and violence you've experienced from happening in the first place. So I thank you again to our Puerto Rican veterans for your service and sacrifice, and for all the ways that you continue to give back and contribute in community as elected officials, as first responders, as mentors, as coaches. We thank you for the contributions that you continue to make once you do return here. This country is truly in your debt. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Thank you for all the great work that you do on behalf of us in Congress. So before I turn the microphone over to Tony Molina, I again wanted to wish him a happy 249th birthday. As a Marine, he looks great for his age. Feliz cumpleaños, 249, you look fantastic. You know, so there was a recent article, and if you could just bear with me one quick moment before we continue, I really would like the opportunity to read this. I haven't read it all, but I just wanted to read a little bit of it, and it's about Tony. Marine Lance Corporal Antonio Tony Molina was a young Puerto Rican radio operator stationed in Vietnam in 1965, when his life was upended by a single moment of brutal combat. He and his fellow Marines had been dropped by helicopter into a village for a routine deployment when, without warning, they found themselves in an ambush surrounded by a fusillade of artillery. Molina, carrying his PRC-9 radio equipment, was reaching for the hand mic perched on his shoulder when he was pushed to the ground by the force of a sniper's bullet that cracked the crown of his skull. Molina recalls only gaining consciousness while being hoisted into a chopper. By the way, that's why we call him cabeza dura. You know, a bullet can't take this man down. He was transported to a field hospital in Vietnam, then to a hospital in Japan, and eventually to Chelsea, Massachusetts, where he underwent rehabilitation at a naval hospital. A visiting lieutenant observing Molina's recovery from paralysis on the left side of his face remarked, "You're really lucky you're Puerto Rican. All you Puerto Ricans are hard-headed." Molina, who was awarded a Purple Heart in 1965, is one of tens of thousands of Puerto Ricans who have served our country in conflict since World War I. Their stories of extraordinary valor often remain in the shadows, a reality Molina has fought to change. He has long worked to ensure the patriotism of our Puerto Rican soldiers is never forgotten. Along with Army Corporal Jaime Rodriguez, a well-known activist and fellow Vietnam veteran, he spearheaded the creation of the Puerto Rican Veterans Memorial here in the South End, which was unveiled back in 2013. Today, it remains the only monument in the mainland United States dedicated to honoring Puerto Rican veterans, according to Molina. Following the Jones-Shatford Act of 1917, which granted people from the island U.S. citizenship, some 236,000 Puerto Ricans registered from for the World War I draft. Nearly 20,000 eventually served. Thus began a pattern of service and sacrifice that would continue for generations and include my maternal grandfather, Jose Lopez, who served in Korea, so that's a writer, not my grandfather. Since World War I, these service members have made their mark in bravery and sacrifice on behalf of the American Armed Forces. There were the famed 65th Infantry Regiment, the Borinqueniers, the only segregated Hispanic unit in Army history. There has been figures such as Sergeant First Class Jorge Otero Valero, referred to as the Puerto Rican Rambo. He served 5 Southeast Asia tours and participated in 200 combat missions, during which he was wounded 5 times. He is considered the most decorated Puerto Rican veteran. Meanwhile, Molina, in addition to his Purple Heart, was recognized in the congressional record in 1993 by Massachusetts Senator John Kerry. Among other distinctions, he was recognized as the first Puerto Rican to be wounded in Vietnam. Kerry also noted Molina's role and impact within the Latino community, including helping to organize Boston's first Puerto Rican festival in 1967, founding a Spanish-language newspaper, and serving in the administration of Mayor Kevin White. Like Molina, each of the figures honored at the Puerto Rican Veterans Memorial has a story of sacrifice, courage, and unbreakable commitment to a nation that has not always fully appreciated our history of service. Molina and others continue to work to change this. As of press time, a new installation was scheduled to be unveiled on Veterans Day, honoring the contributions of the Borinqueneers and recognizing their Congressional Gold Medal, which was awarded. For further generations of Puerto Ricans, the plaza is a place, a space, to see ourselves reflected in American history. If there was a dumpster big enough to tell, which distinguished itself in World War II and the Korean War, earning respect on the battlefield until its deactivation in 1950. Sorry, there's a little break here. I can't see where it happened, but during the Vietnam War alone, some 48,000 Puerto Ricans fought across all branches of the United States military. Their contributions in multiple conflicts have reached the highest levels of command, from Admiral Horatio Rivero Jr., the first Puerto Rican four-star admiral, to numerous generals and distinguished officers who led combat missions. Several who fought in war have posthumously received the Medal of Honor. Behind me, if you can see here, these are the recipients of all the Medal of Honors that were given to Puerto Ricans. As Molina's life and work demonstrates, patriotism runs deep, sacrifice knows no boundaries, and the true measure of a nation is how it honors those who have defended it. I served proudly for my country, and if I had to, I'd do it again, he said, to protect the freedom of my United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, Antonio Molina.
Also, Eldon, the author is here. Eldon is here.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Muchas gracias. Como dice Jaime Rodríguez, mis primeras palabras siempre han sido en el lenguaje de Papa Dios. Yo creo que tenemos que ser sumamente agradecidos que un día como hoy, que supuesta y alegadamente, como dice la Comay, iba a llover, tenemos soleado. So, thank you. Thank you, God, for being always present here with us. Supposedly, it was going to rain, it was going to be cold, but God remembered, oops, I can't let that happen because it's Veterans Day. And there has never been a day that it has been sunny and warm when we are doing our Veterans event. I'm going to be very, very brief because I know there's a lot of people here that need to go home for a minute. But I just want to thank a lot of folks who, without their support, there wouldn't be a Puerto Rican Veterans Monument in the city of Boston. Gracias especially to the Board of Directors, Dali Sepúlveda, Isaías Sepúlveda, Carmen Colombani, Pedro Santiago, Guillermo Candelario, Marita Ayala, Pichi Toyen, and all those who were present, Jaime Rodriguez, who was part of our board, president of the board before me. He was the one that told me, you're going to be president. And like he says, you know, when Jaime gives an order, that all of us have to accept it. Thank you, gracias, Jaime. But I think that most definitely, without the support of people like Congresswoman Ayanna Presley, Mayor Michelle Wu, City Councilor Ed Flynn, John Moran, I think that without their support, Nick Collins now, Ray Flynn, who my dear, dear friend Ray Flynn, the mayor of Boston, Tom Menino, may he rest in peace, Marty Walsh, Governor Val Patrick, Charlie Baker. Those are people who always, when we went to see them and said, we have a need, and there was never a word no on our suggestions or our requests. I want to thank the City Council of Boston, City Council who are here, who have always said present. Le quiero dar las gracias a mi querido amigo Eva Ayuso, sobrino de mi compadre, okay? I'm not going to translate what I just said. Steve, thank you so much for your support here. Without their support, this park would be clean as it is now. I think the sponsors, Goya Foods, David Morales with Stewart Health, Nobel Garcia, may he rest in peace, from El Oriental de Cuba, Brown Fund. I just want to say a word here which broke my heart last night. When I called a friend of mine, Oscar at Eversource, who always were the ones that gave us the electrical support. And I said, Oscar, we need the generator. And he says, Tony, I have to tell you that I can't do it anymore. I no longer have the connection that we had before, because the person who always brought the generator to my home, Mark, committed suicide. A young man committed to helping us, so may he rest in peace, and I hope God has him next to him, because Mark deserves to be next to God. And a person who, without him, there wouldn't be a monument like this. Bob Shore from Skylight Studios. Bob, thank you so much. And Bob has always been present whenever we need to do something. I call Bob. Bob says, just tell me what you have, what you want, and you have it. So thank you, Bob. Thank you, Lisa, for being here with us. And I also want to say thank you to the daughter of one of my best friends, one of the real pioneers in the city of Boston, Chico Munoz, who may rest in peace. Without Chico, there wouldn't be anything. I think that, there's, my friend Eldon Villafañe, who's here, that wrote the article here. I think this is something I saw today. Eldon, thank you. Thank you much. Fantastic. Yeah? Oh, yes. Well, I have a friend here who won't accept that he's older than me, but, that's not no problem. Albertico Vasallo, thank you. El Mundo newspaper has always been there for the Puerto Rican Festival. And all the press that has always been here covering our events, thank you for making it public that we have a Puerto Rican monument in the city of Boston. That's the only one in the country. And the new Puerto Rican Veterans Monument Plaza. There's no other one, okay? So thank you much. And now I want to call all of you, I want to call Ayana, please. All the elected officials, los veteranos, por favor, can they come up front? We are going to unveil the plaque to the 65th Infantry Regiment, gold medal. So please, Michelle, Ayana, City Councilors, please, Steve, all of us, and we can go out there in back of them so we can, Jaime, we can unveil this plaque dedicated to the 65th Infantry Regiment, the gold medal dedicated to the 65th, awarded by the Congress of the United States. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, señoras y señores, we are going to make history one more time. Vamos a hacer historia otra vez. Vamos a develar, we're going to unveil the plaque dedicated to the 65th Infantry Regiment, actually the gold medal awarded to the 65th by the Congress of the United States. Muchas gracias a ellos. Thank you so much. So,
I can move.
Please, Ayana, in front, please. You? Aquí también, good. 1, 2, 3. Hey, I learned how to count. Hey, yes.